Welcome to Brain Wellness, the podcast. I'm your host, Mandy NP. Each episode will bring you a new topic or interview related to brain health and wellness as part of my mission to help you on the path to a healthier, happier brain. So, let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Brain Wellness, the podcast. My guest today is Irene Vaksberg. Irene is a motivational speaker and neurological wearable technology coach. She's on a mission to change people's lives with chronic pain, just like she experienced for 5 years after a car accident. She believes your darkest moment will become your brightest light, and giving up is not an option. Welcome to the show, Irene.
Oh my God, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah. So my first question always is, what's your story? Why does brain health interest you?
Something, it never interested me before until it did, right? We become advocates when we go through a difficult moment.
Yeah.
And my difficult moment happened 12 years ago, where I was going home to change to go to celebrate my 43rd birthday. Instead, I've ended up in the hospital. A gentleman T-boned us and flew right into me, and my life was never the same. Just every time I say that, it kind of gives me a little pause, even though it's been 12 years, but I can see that whole experience like flashback, right? Yeah. So anxiety, depression, chronic pain, loss of income that I created. I'm a hairdresser now, probably 40 years, 38 years. I started at 16. I'm 54. Oh my God. Just disappeared in front of me. I lost 70% of my business. Doctors gave up on me, especially in the third year when the brain became overburdened. My neurology was on flight and fight, and the brainstem was just giving up on itself and created shaking and spasms. And that would happen for hours. I didn't know what would trigger, what would stop. Morphine drips stopped it. Epidural stopped it. Not a good look for a hairdresser while your hands shake. Yeah. So the business was just less people were leaving me left and right. And I started learning about brain and the brain function and how important it is to have a healthy brain and keeping in that neurological equilibrium, or a better word, balance. And it blew my mind that, I thought my pain comes from my lumbar tear, my whatever the pain that I had, my feet were numb and things like that. But what I've learned is it comes from the brain. The brain is on fire, not my arm, and the brain sends the signal to whatever part of the body. So, I went from being a hairdresser to understanding brain function and how important it is to have your neurology balanced.
Yeah, absolutely. So that shaking, that was that video that you had sent me.
Yes.
So that would happen when you were in pain, or would happen anytime?
It would happen anytime. I didn't know what triggered, and that actually caused pain. I was in pain pretty much all the time, unless I had the epidural, and I had a couple of, no more than 2.5 months without pain. Yeah. And the shaking still would break through, even though I had a epidural, because, what I've learned, that epidural does nothing neurologically to you. It's a superficial Band-Aid that underneath the brain is still neurologically disbalanced.
Yeah. Basically what medications like that do is just kind of block the pain sensation so that you don't realize it's there, so your brain can't realize it and can't respond to it. But you're exactly right. It's still there.
It's still there.
When the medication wears off, then you can absolutely see it all come right back again too.
And it's worse. And when you're in it, you don't understand why your dosage just went up, because it just got used to it. It's not enough anymore. So it's a vicious cycle. But its brain is powerful.
Yeah. How did you get into the wearables?
So I prayed for it. 5 years ago was a really terrible place in my life. And every time I share, it gets very emotional. I'm a very strong person. I've been through many difficult things in my life, but nothing as difficult as this, when you see all parts of your life just disappearing. Depression is not a place to live, and you don't understand it until you go through it. And I actually had to apologize to some people because, you know, my mind is so strong. Like, mind over matter, what you focus, what grows, right? But that's not the fact. Sometimes we don't have the choice, and I felt like I did not have a choice at that moment of that such difficult moment in my life. So I prayed, even though I didn't believe, and I prayed to die. And this little voice said to me, one more prayer. I'm like, I can't, like, I have nothing in me anymore. And how many times can I pray? And this little voice was just like, one more time, Irene, one more time, one more time. And, you know, this little voice of me telling my customers, this is just the moment, and giving up is not an option. And come on, Irene, you can do that baby step. So like, I heard all of this. Yes, I know the glass is so empty, but it could refill it. But like, you know, when doctors give up on you, right? And everything is falling apart. It's not just your mindset. It's physical, emotional, financial. And you're 11 years old, puts your undies on, and, you know, you don't visit your parents unless you have an epidural. So, and it's important to share that backstory, because that's what gives me strength, and that's my passion and my mission, to help others in that moment of like, I'm praying to die, and like, no, you have to go deep and pull that one more prayer. So I prayed and I prayed, and I was very specific, and I said something that is natural, drug-free, blah, 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 non-invasive, no chemicals, affordable, because people in chronic pain, not that we don't want to try another thing, but our credit cards are maxed out. I was at 15,000. It's just the disappointment that it's not going to work, and that hope that's going to be taken away. So I prayed and I released it to the universe, and my guardian angel that walked in a year after my car accident into my salon, and she didn't even live in Los Angeles, was diagnosed with MS. And she said, I will find something for you that will change your life. And I've met a lot of people doing here, but a stranger says that to you, it's profound to me, because like, who does that? And she did. She started Googling for herself, and then she found this magical pair of socks. This woman with MS was like, look at me. Oh my gosh, she was like crazy going, I can't believe this little sock. And, you know, maybe not this one, but I'm going to show it to you. And she's like, look at this little orange patch. It's incredible. And she did this exercise. Her body collapsed, and then she put the product on, and then all of this magical stuff happened. So she gifted it to me. It took 4 months, and I didn't want it. She sent it to me anyway. And it reminds me, when we pray, is that we have to be open to God's answers, right? Like, I'm not religious, I'm a spiritual person, but it's like, he sent it to me 4 months. For 4 months. And I said, no, not knowing this is the miracle that I prayed for so hard, and I was giving up. So the neurological wearable technology sock was sent to me. It changed my life, and I dived in because I didn't understand it. Did I care how it works? No, I just knew I didn't need another epidural. I just knew I didn't need another sympathetic nerve block or a hip injection or Vicodin, and there was no shaking. I didn't care, but I wanted to still kind of fascinated by the brain part. Not even how this works, but how each part of the brain, my depression, my anxiety, my PTSD that I lived for 30 years, how it all connects to functioning neurology.
How long did it take for that sock to start working?
7 seconds, as you see in the video. So the connection through the master technology, as we call our socks, is 7 seconds. Goes from disbalance to neurological balance. The least amount is 13%. the most we've seen over 50% in 7 seconds. So it actually meets you exactly where you are neurologically, nothing to do with issues, everything to do with balancing neurology. So every single human being can benefit from it. I have triplets, brand new triplets wearing this technology.
Wow. Wow. That is so cool. The fact that we can create these kind of things that we're even given the knowledge to even create them to begin with is fascinating. But the ability for that stranger to come into your life, we always hear that people come into our life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, right? There was a reason for that person to walk into your salon, even though she didn't live in your area. And she was meant to meet you. She was meant to help you on that.
Don't you give me goosebumps.
I know, right? You prayed and you got your answer. And sometimes we don't always pay attention to those answers when they come. This is very true.
Yes,
we don't recognize them.
Yeah, when we pray, the answer comes to you, not how we want it. Yeah. Right? I was looking for surgery. There was not an option. I was looking for a treatment. There was not an option. I was looking for a pill. There was not an option. And I was looking to a woman or a man, a person in a white suit that had a medical degree. They had no options.
Yeah. Yep. It's fascinating where the ideas come from and who brings it on. And I'm really excited that you were able to get that. What other kind of supports or resources did you have along the way?
So I'm a big advocate for meditation, positive thinking. I think health starts with what we put in the body. So diet is really important, right? So all of those, I had a support group with chronic pain and depression, all of that. Finding your peers is very important. Sleep is important, but it was hard to sleep. I tried my best, but Ivan was shaking in my sleep, so it would wake me up. So, but yeah, reading books, trying to stay focused, even though I didn't want to hear anything. I was battling all of these blocks because glass was super empty. Yeah. Like I didn't see myself coming out of this, especially when doctor said, we're done. We don't know what to do with your PTSD. It's in your head. Are you really, really doing this? Let me know when you need next epidural. So, I went back did my own research, inflammation of the body, and when you Google, I died about 100 times.
Yeah.
It's like symptoms. Oh my God, you got this. And my daughter was going nuts, like, please do not Google anything anymore.
Yeah. I warn my patients all the time to be cautious on Google because you can find some really scary things on there. Absolutely. But to your comment, you mentioned that people would say that it's all in your head. And I hate hearing other providers say that to people. But my response is usually, well, it actually is, because your brain is inside your head and that's what's controlling all of these things. So yes, having worked in neurology for 20 some years now, it is all in your head because that's where your brain and your nerves start.
That's right. And something, I didn't understand any of it until I went to a pain management doctor at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles, one of the top hospitals in the country. And, I had to bribe people to get me there. And so when I walked in, he said, oh my God, your neurologists are out of whack. You're in a fight mode and your part of your brain that deals with pain is overwhelmed. And I was like, oh, it's not in my head. This is really neurologically dysfunctioning. And I had to understand all of this. And he said, I see this in cancer patients that go through chemo and the pain is so intense. And he said, we have to balance your neurologist, use the word equilibrium. I'm like, what is it? It's like foreign language to me, right? And so I actually took medicine for a year to balance my neurology at $250 a shot. And then I found it's compound medicine. And I didn't even know that even existed. And guess what? This did it in 7 seconds. And this doctor is totally fascinated by my results. And actually he worked with our company to do some studies. So it was without me knowing, but it came full circle. So I was very fascinated.
That is really cool. Yeah. There are so many things that we can try. There are so many different medications that we use to try to cover up pain. And that's always been my struggle when I've been working in our traditional Western medicine world. We do a lot of things to cover up what's going on and to kind of minimize the pain, but we don't find the cause so much. Functional medicine, when we look at dysfunction, we figure out how things are not working. Functional medicine approaches take a different look at things, and they try to fix it from the bottom up and what's wrong and how can we fix those brain signals so that things are going correctly into your body. So essentially you're wearing a pair of functional medicine socks.
That's a great, you just gave me a whole other way to speak to doctors.
Yeah. So so
functional medicine. That's
yes,
great.
Yep, functional medicine socks, because you're fixing the brain chemistry, you're fixing the electricity that's going through your body by using those medical socks. So it's amazing technology.
Yeah, it sure is. I'm sitting here because of it, because I don't know what I would be. And it's it's part of my journey, right? It's a God's blessing. It's a miracle that was given to me. But before I found this, I showed up every day to the chronic pain community and said to them, we got this. We're in this together. Yes, we're in chronic pain, but let's count on blessing. Yes, we can't maybe salsa dance anymore as I couldn't, and I did it every weekend, but we can move our arms, right, to the music, so it is motivation, inspiration / neurological wearable technology coach, whatever that means. I don't know what that means, but and I guide people through the process. I don't like labels.
A lot of it is that attitude that you choose to have as well. If you choose to be the negative person and suffer through it, it will take you to some very dark places.
Yeah.
So
it did. And I went there. It was just, I could not, and that's what was so difficult. I was angry at myself for being angry, for being there, but I couldn't. It was just, it's a very vicious cycle of giving up. Giving up.
When you're trying one thing after another that's not working, it is very discouraging. So it's easy to have happen. But when you're able to turn that around and use that in a positive way to share your story with others, to help motivate others to get that same kind of response, it's a beautiful thing when you can do that.
Yeah, agree. And I promise, I'm like, I'm not messing with God. I'm like, I show up front and center every single morning, and I say, thank you for the miracle, and let's not give up hope.
Yep. You can't waste that one. So very good. What are like one or two things that you would tell our listeners if they were in similar situations of what you were, that where can they start? What are things that they can do now that can try to get them to a better place?
Take a breath.
Yeah.
Take a breath and be kind to yourself. Be kind. And especially if you've been in this chronic pain mind, it's a physical, but it's mind, right? Because we can't help it. We feel that pain. We think about it 24/7. We pray for some miracle. Be kind to yourself, gentle with yourself, and just know that baby steps better than no steps. Don't try to change the diet so quickly. Don't start like wanting to run a marathon, do a yoga in your chair, right? Or in your bed. Just baby steps, implement little things, and be gentle with yourself.
I think a lot of us forget to do that. We are kind to other people. We are graceful with other people. We give people grace, but we forget to do that to ourselves.
Yes. And I'm one of them, because I run, I don't sit. It's hard for me. And, God really wanted me to really chill out.
Yep. I hear you. I've done the same thing. I've seen so many different memes on social media that say things about think about how you talk to yourself. Would you talk to yourself the way you talk to other people, or would you talk vice versa? I guess, would you talk to other people the way you talk to yourself? No, you would be kind to them. You would tell them it's okay. Take a break if you're tired, but we don't let ourselves do that. And it's when we let ourselves do that that we can actually heal. You mentioned not being able to sleep very well because of the pain. And that's, I think, one of the hardest parts about having chronic pain and anything related to our brain and our nervous system not working correctly, because if we're not sleeping, our brain is not healing, because that's when our brain and our body heals itself, is when we sleep. So people that experience chronic pain, as you did, in severe pain, it makes it very difficult to heal because you're not getting that adequate rest.
Yes, absolutely. And through that, I learned about REM sleep. I thought I slept great, but yeah, but this just, I mean, that's a whole conversation, another talk show we can do about REM sleep and how that important. You know, the quality of sleep is the REM sleep. It's like, you know, it's fascinating. All of this brain is fascinating. I'm addicted to it now.
See, this is why I got addicted to it so many years ago, because it's no two brains are the same. No two people respond the same. Two people can have the same accident and not be left with the same pain issues or the same injuries. But the response, the recovery time is also very different for every person.
Absolutely.
So in my practice, I've always had to be very cautious to take it one person at a time. And there's no cookie cutter approach to anything. But when you find something that works, of course, you're going to scream it from the rooftops, because it certainly can help other people. Even if it can't help everyone, it can help some or many. Yep. So you are a coach for this. What are you working on now? Are there any projects you want to share with our listeners?
So it's every hour. I already have about 15 phone calls to return. The project is one individual person at a time. To put this tag on each individual person at a time. And then we have 8 other patches that help with different things, but that is my magic. This is what I focus on. Put a couple of pair of socks and let me help you through the protocol. Let me help you get your quality of life back. Let me help you not give up. Let me help you be patient, because there's no magic pill, and we've taken many. And this medicine combination with natural, it all works together. It's not one per se to another, but again, it all comes back to brain. So I educate people that, you know, healthy neurology is healthy life, right? Let's keep your nervous system in homeostasis. You know, and I have to remember that a lot of people don't understand that word, just like I didn't, you know, balance of your brain. So the projects never end. It's consistently sharing, it's one long lifetime project to bring awareness of drug-free options that people don't know about. And so, you know, reaching out and inviting more holistic practitioners. The more practitioners, holistic practitioners is in this journey. That is my big project. I promised myself this year I'm going to build a whole entire community of practitioners that use this.
Very cool.
So if you're a practitioner, you know, regular or not regular, holistic, connect with me. I would love to share more of this tech.
Perfect. That's a great goal. Where can people find you if they want to learn more about this?
Everywhere. Facebook, Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. I am on TikTok. I'm on YouTube. Facebook is probably the easiest connection. I'm on WhatsApp. So Irene Vaksberg, and come and chat with me, you know.
Awesome.
I'm here for you.
Yeah. If you think about it, send me those links and I'll add it to the show notes.
Okay.
Or did you send I think you might have sent them to me already. Yes, you did. Yep. So I'll add those all into the show notes so people can click on that.
Thank you.
And find you. Yeah. Anything else that you wanted to share with us today?
Sure. And this is how I end all of my lives. And this is no different, is that wherever you are in your journey is just a moment. And, you know, be gentle with yourself, celebrate yourself, especially if you're on the other side of it, and make sure you share it to encourage others, right? We must give hope when we found hope. We must share what brought us to the level of quality of life, purpose, mission, passion, right? And if the person is still struggling, you know, sometimes we have to live in that struggle to find ourselves, right? Like I had to find that faith and the strength all over again, because I lost it. I gave up. First time in my life, I asked, why me? So it's okay to have the pity party. It's okay to sit there and cry, but put your big girl panties on, boy, and let's go. Let's walk out of the mindset of pain, even though you're there, and just try to find some blessings that we have in our lives. Every day cannot be amazing, but there's something amazing in every day. So baby steps if you have to, tiptoe if you have to, but please don't sit there for too long. Just enough time. And then the most important thing, this difficult moment that we think we were buried, but actually remember you were planted. So nurture it. You're the seed in the darkness that will bloom, and there'll be magic in your life. You just have to go through a little bit through this terrible, terrible bump.
Yeah, I love that. That's all good advice. Sometimes it's hard to see that light at the end of the tunnel, but knowing that it's there is something to keep working toward.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Irene.
Oh, thank you so much, Benji. I so appreciate you.
Yes, thank you for sharing your story, for your gifts, and good luck with everything that you're working on.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Bye now. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Brain Wellness, the podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I encourage you to subscribe, like, and share this with others to help me continue on with my mission to help people live healthier, happier lives. Go to www.brainwellnesssolutions.com to see what I'm up to and get links to all the social medias there. See you next time.